Hello, and happy early spring to all our friends out there from the Financial Advisory Group. We just wanted to pass along an update to how things are going here at the firm and give you some thoughts as to how we see things playing out the rest of the year in 2021. Boy, what a difference a year makes, huh? To think back a year ago, right about this time, was the last time we had all six of us here in the office together until this week in 2021. So that's the good news, that this week, starting going forward, our plan is to have all seven of us here in the office on a daily basis. It's crazy to think that that's the first time we've done that in a year now. So the good news is things are starting to turn a little bit back more to normal for all of us in a little way. For us, that means getting to see each other again on a daily basis. Still wearing masks, but at least getting to see each other. As far as client meetings go, our plan is to still keep them virtual for now and see how the vaccine rollout goes. As things change, and they're changing pretty quickly, we'll keep you updated on our thoughts. But for now, the thought is to keep most meetings as phone calls or Zoom meetings. And as the weather gets nicer, as it is today, the picnic table got officially moved out to its normal spot. So hopefully we'll be able to use that picnic table a little bit more like we were able to last summer and last fall. As we look forward, first thing we need to do is look back and think about how different the year was a year ago, how different the world was a year ago from where it is today. It's hard sometimes to look at the market today and think, how is the market doing what it's doing when we as humans or as people have probably had one of the most difficult 12 months we've ever had to live through. You combine going through the health scare of COVID with the isolation we've all had to deal with, without being able to see the friends and family we normally do. Add on top of that, not being able to travel, not being able to go out to eat, just not being able to have that normal life that we all look forward to. That's weighed on all of us. And you add on top of that one of the strangest, probably most stressful elections we've ever lived through. Then add on top of that the insurrection or whatever happened at the Capitol back in January of 2021. It's just been a very stressful year. Then you look at the markets and they look like, hey, party on, everything looks great. And we think there's an important lesson to learn from that. And we're half jokingly say it, but the market lives on a different planet than we do, right? We look at the isolation and think this is really difficult to get through. Amazon looks at it and says, this is what we're made for, right? We joke with every client, we have an Amazon truck coming to our house every day, if not multiple times a day. So Amazon is thriving in this environment. You look at a company like Google, right? Last March, all of a sudden, boom, students were sent home from school. Well, guess what most of them are using? Some type of Google device or Google software to be able to connect to school on a daily basis. Again, Google is thriving in this environment. Another example would be Netflix, right? Now we're all stuck at home more than we ever thought we would be. So we're watching more streaming shows than we ever thought we would be. So we get it, right? As humans, this last 12 months has been very difficult, right? We hope that it only gets better. But for some companies, it actually was a great year. And the market focuses on different things than we do. That's why we like to say the market truly lives on a different planet than we do. Add on top of that, you have the Federal Reserve keeping rates really low. So it's still making it very easy for companies to borrow money in a cheap way and people to refinance. The refinance rates we keep hearing of 15-year loans and 30-year loans at 2% and 2.5%. That just puts more money in companies' pockets and more money in people's pockets so that there's more money out there in the economy to help things keep going. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of things to worry about as we look forward, right? The new concerns we hear, what about the new administration? What about inflation? What about the worry of the day? The thing we'd say is keep in mind the market worries about very different things than we do. So as humans, it's a stressful time. For the market, though, it actually feels pretty good about itself. Looking forward, right, I think the one thing we'd point out, and we've used this analogy before, is this market has had an amazing 11, 12-month run since March of 2020. We'd used the analogy before that this market's a little bit like a balloon, right? And the one thing we don't want this balloon to do is pop. And this balloon is pretty full right now, right? We've had a lot of air put into this balloon over the last 11, 12 months. Well, every once in a while, it's healthy to let some air out of that balloon. So think about it. If you picture a balloon that's really full, right? Once you decide to let some air out of it, that air tends to come out very quickly because there's so much pressure built up inside that balloon. So what we think you may see over this next, and you've seen a little bit of it recently, is that every once in a while, this balloon has to let some air out, right? We'd rather it do that than pop. And if you think about it, that's a good thing. Once air goes out of the balloon, guess what? There's more room for air to go back in. So we really like that balloon analogy and think we need to, might be a little bit time to let a little bit of this air out every once in a while, where you might have some, not fun looking days, weeks, months, but that's okay because we have come a very, very long way. Keep in mind when we look forward as well, last year was about thinking big. Google, Amazon, these massive tech companies. We think 2021 will be more about thinking small, right? These smaller businesses, as when we talk to people more and more every day that have this pent up desire to go do something, right? And probably the best part of this last month or two with phone calls with clients is the optimism we can start hearing in people's voices, especially anyone who's been vaccinated. The optimism that now I can see that light. Maybe I can go out to eat at a restaurant. Maybe I can go see my grandchildren. Maybe I can go down to Florida when I thought I wasn't going to be able to go anymore. So again, there's so much optimism and so much pent up desire out there as these vaccinations come to light that we truthfully think this economy can have a good year in 2021 as we move forward. So again, to us, things look okay. We do think that balloon may need to let some air out every now and then, but that's okay. That's a healthy thing to do. We'd always rather it let some air out rather than pop. As we end, let's end on an optimistic note here, right? The days are getting longer, which is excellent. The snow has melted, which might be the best part of this. The temperatures are getting higher. Today, it's supposed to hit 70 degrees on March 10th here in York, Pennsylvania, and vaccinations are up, right? We're heading in the right direction. And as all that comes, more optimism builds. And I truthfully think 2021 will turn out to be a much better year than 2020 was. I'll quote the Counting Crows, one of my favorite bands, and a song that they have. And the lyrics go, "It's been a long December, and there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last." Here's to hoping this year is better than the last for all of us. Make it a great year, and we can't wait to see you all sometime soon here in the office.